Welcome everyone to Psych Vibes. Welcome to our first deep dive into the foundations of psychology. Today we're going to answer two fundamental questions that you've probably been wondering about since you registered for this course. What exactly is psychology? And what do psychologists actually do all day? Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. When you told your friends or family that you were taking a psychology class, what did they say? Did they ask if you're going to read their mind? Did they assume you'll be analyzing their dreams or lying down on a couch? Yeah, I thought so. We're going to clear up those misconceptions right now. So let's start off with a formal definition. Psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Now, I want you to really focus on each part of that definition because every word matters. First, notice the word scientific. This is crucial. Psychology is not just common sense. It's not just sharing opinions about why people do what they do. It's not armchair philosophy or pop psychology from a self-help book. Psychology is a rigorous science that uses the scientific method, systematic observation, measurement, experimentation, and the formulation and testing of hypotheses. Second, we study behavior. That's anything you can observe and measure. Walking, talking, eating, sleeping, pressing a button in an experiment, helping a stranger, avoiding eye contact. You can see it, hear it, or measure it with instruments. It's behavior. Third, we study mental processes. The internal, subjective experiences that we can't directly observe. Things like thoughts, feelings, dreams, perceptions, memories, motivations, even emotions. Now, here's the challenge. How do you scientifically study something you can't directly see? That's one of the fascinating challenges of psychology, and we'll explore the methods psychologists have developed to do exactly that. Psychology studies an incredibly wide range of topics. Why do we dream? Why do children learn language? What makes some people more prone to anxiety or depression? How does peer pressure influence teenagers? Why do we forget things we just learned? How do our brains process faces differently than other objects? What other factors predict academic success? All of these and thousands more are psychological questions. Now, as a science, psychology has four main goals. Think of these as the four things psychologists are trying to accomplish with their research and practice. The first goal, describe. The first step is simply to describe behavior accurately. What exactly is happening? For example, a psychologist might observe that college students sleep an average of 6.5 hours per night during the week, or that toddlers engage in parallel play, which is playing near but not with other children, before they engage in cooperative play. Description gives us a clear picture of the phenomenon we're studying. The second goal is explain. Once we've described something, we want to explain why it happens. Why do college students sleep less during the week? Is it academic workload, social activities, poor time management? Explaining means identifying the causes and underlying mechanisms. The third goal is to predict. If we truly understand something, we should be able to predict when it will occur. For instance, if we understand what causes depression, we should be able to predict which individuals are at higher risk. If we understand factors that influence academic success, we should be able to predict which students might struggle and need additional support. And the fourth goal is control. Now, control might sound a little ominous, but don't worry. We're not trying to turn people into puppets. Psychology, control means influencing behavior for beneficial purposes. We can control the factors that influence behavior. We can help people change in positive ways. This is the basis of therapy and can help someone overcome a phobia, reduce anxiety, improve study habits, enhance athletic performance, manage chronic pain, or develop healthier relationships. Notice how these four goals build on each other. We describe, then explain, then predict, and finally control. Each step requires the previous ones. All right, so now you know what psychology is. But what do psychologists spend their time doing? Here's where it gets really interesting, because psychology is an incredibly diverse field. Psychologists engage in three main activities, and many psychologists do all three. The first is research. Some psychologists are primarily researchers. They conduct studies to expand our understanding of behavior and mental processes. And research comes in two main flavors: pure research, also called basic research, and applied research. And we'll get more into those later. Second thing psychologists do is practice. Many psychologists practice psychology. They apply psychological knowledge to help people. These are your clinical psychologists, counseling psychologists, school psychologists, and others who work directly with individuals, groups, or organizations to solve problems and promote well-being. The third thing is teaching. Psychologists also teach, sharing psychological knowledge in classrooms like this one, seminars, workshops, through writing textbooks and articles. They're training the next generation of psychologists. Remember, these three aren't mutually exclusive. I might conduct research, teach classes, and do some clinical work. That's the beauty of psychology. It's flexible. Now, let's talk about the different specialties within psychology. Psychology is a huge tent that covers many different fields. Let me walk you through some of the major ones. Clinical psychologists are the largest subgroup. They help people with psychological disorders adjust to life's demands, evaluating problems like depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addiction through interviews and psychological tests. Now, counseling psychologists are similar to clinical psychologists, but they typically work with people who have adjustment problems rather than severe psychological disorders. It might help with making career decisions, coping with divorce or grief, dealing with discrimination or prejudice, managing work-life balance, or adjusting to college. Think of counseling psychologists as helping people navigate life's challenges and transitions, rather than treating severe mental illness. Now let's continue with more specialties. Developmental psychologists. They study the changes, our physical, cognitive, social, and emotional changes that occur throughout our lifespan, from conception to death. A personality psychologist identifies and measures human traits and determines what influences human thought, processes, feelings, and behavior. They're particularly concerned with issues like, why are some people more anxious than others? How stable are personality traits over time? What role do genes play in personality? And how do early learning experiences shape who we become? Social psychologists study the nature and cause of individuals' thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in social situations. While personality psychologists look within the person for explanations, social psychologists focus on social influences, like conformity and obedience. Why do people go along with groups? Prejudice and discrimination. How do stereotypes form and how can we reduce them? Attraction in relationships. What makes people like or love each other? Aggression. When and why do people harm or help others? Social psychology is fascinating because it often reveals that situations influence behavior far more powerfully than we might anticipate. Here's some more specialized psychological fields. So you can see psychology is an incredibly diverse field. It's growing and changing. New specialties are emerging all the time. Neuropsychology, positive psychology, and many others. What's exciting is that all these fields are interconnected. A sports psychologist might draw on research from cognitive psychology, social psychology, and health psychology. A clinical psychologist treating depression incorporates findings from biological psychology, developmental psychology, and research on memory and cognition. More women and more members of ethnic minorities are entering psychology today. In fact, about 65% of all psychologists are now women. This increasing diversity enriches the field by bringing different perspectives and asking new questions. So, why does all this matter to you, whether you're planning to major in psychology or not? First, psychology is everywhere. Understanding human behavior is valuable in any career: education, business, healthcare, law, technology, arts, sports, you name it. Every job involves working with people, and psychologists give you insights into motivation, communication, learning, decision making, and interpersonal dynamics. Second, psychologists help you understand yourself better. Why do you procrastinate? Why do you feel anxious in certain situations? How can you improve your memory and learning? How can you build better relationships? Psychology provides scientifically based answers to these three questions. Third, psychology makes you a more informed citizen. It helps you think critically about claims you encounter, from advertising, from politicians, from social media. It helps you recognize when research supports a claim when someone is just making things up. Fourth, psychology can literally improve your life. Research on study strategies, stress management, relationship skills, habit formation, and well-being can help you be more successful and even happier. So even if you never take another psychology class after this one, I hope you'll see that psychology is relevant, practical, and fascinating. It's the science of understanding why we do what we do, and that's something worth understanding.